Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another silly car build. My vehicle today, well, it does start off as really rather silly, as this is a Dodge Charger from Fast and Furious. As you can see, it is quite a modified one. It's sort of a raid version of the Charger. If you imagine the raid cars from The Crew, it's that kind of a thing with a Dodge Charger, and I'm very curious to see how this thing will turn out. It could be quite good. In all honesty, it should be very, very powerful. We don't have the option to swap an engine. We're keeping it as rear-wheel drive, of course. However, we can stick a supercharger on it. Supercharger adds 87 horsepower. It starts off with 650 horsepower, 660 foot-pounds of torque. And it starts off as a B-class car as well. It is monstrously powerful, and we're going to max the car out. So yeah, we will go for a supercharger. Tyres, of course, well, we're going to want race tyres. It does look rather bizarre, I will be honest, when you put it on race tyres. That kind of looks all right. That kind of looks a little bit peculiar. We will have the maximum tyre widths as well, so that we stand a chance of getting around some corners. It looks a little bit better with them. It still doesn't look quite right with the race tyres, but never mind. Rear tyres, actually, I was expecting 345s as being a classic muscle car, but 315s, I mean, they're still big, hefty tyres. I'm surprised that they're not the bigger ones, but never mind, they will do. We will go through, get all of it. We're going to need handling on this car. We're going to want it to handle as good as possible. I don't know what the suspension is going to be like. I suspect it's going to be quite soft, quite wallowy suspension, so that could be an interesting thing to fight with. We will, of course, though, be going with race suspension, race brakes, most definitely. We all want it to be getting stopped. And those brakes took off a lot of weight. I didn't realise the brakes were going to take... I'm not used to brakes being that much lighter than the standard things. Okay, I just never noticed that before. How does the... Again, it looks slightly peculiar. That rear... There is not much space by that rear wheel. That's... Yeah, that just about isn't rubbing on the bodywork, I don't think. But yeah, we will have the race suspension, of course. Again, race anti-roll bar, still taking off the some of the weight. Hopefully, we might get it below. It's probably pushing our luck. We might get it below 3,000. Oh no, maybe not. Only one weight reduction upgrade. Gets it down to 3,300 pounds though. So, you know, it's not too bad on the weight front. The weight may be slightly advantageous with this car. Often slightly heavier cars, while, you know, power to weight ratio, well, who knows how much power we're going to get out of it, probably quite a lot. Having that little bit more weight may give us some stability in the car, and we are going to have a big power to weight ratio because we're going to have monstrous amounts of power. I am hoping certainly a monstrous amount of torque in the car. Get the exhaust on, take some more weight out. It's up to 800 foot-pounds of torque. This is going to add a lot of power. 920 horsepower in the Charger. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of power and a lot of torque. We're fingers crossed. The supercharger upgrade, we should get this well over 1,000 in this car. Here we go. Next, this is the big one. What can we get out of the supercharger? Oh. It's a lot. It's an awful lot. 1,081 horsepower. We've almost got 1,000 foot-pounds of torque as well. These will... Oh, we've got 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. It's adding 3 PI just by adding 65 horsepower. 1,002 foot-pounds of torque and 1,146 horsepower. Holy crap, this thing is powerful. The Charger is an absolute monster. It's heavy, but I'm hoping for some stability from the car, and we have got a mountain of torque and ridiculous amounts of power. Well, the Dodge, it may look slightly strange, I will be honest. With all the off-road bits, yeah, it may look slightly... or with the off-road bits combined with the race bits, it may look slightly odd, but it has got an absolutely incredible engine. It will probably be a handful to drive, though. However, before we go driving with the mighty Dodge, we must first give it a target to try and beat. And for this one, I've gone for something a little bit different. Well, the Eagle Westlake Classic sort of Grand Prix car. much less powerful than Dodge. 410 horsepower, about 280 foot-pounds of torque. However, it is approximately a third of the weight of of the Dodge. Doesn't have as sophisticated tyres or suspension and so on, but we are going around the Sonoma, the NASCAR layout of this circuit, short layout, whichever one, I can't remember what it's called now. I absolutely love this this particular layout of Sonoma. 5 laps with this classic Grand Prix car to see how quickly we can get it, and then we will have the Dodge try and beat it. Part of the reason why I picked this circuit in particular, aside from the fact that I really do quite like it, is I thought the hills and the bumps could be quite interesting for the Dodge to try and navigate. Let's see, I may have not quite braked hard enough. I'm still trying to find, certainly with these classic Grand Prix cars, trying to find the point where I can brake and not have everything all completely locked up. These are not the easiest cars to drive in the world, certainly. They tend not to have a huge amount of grip from the rear end. I do love, though, the way you can sort of see that the wheels bouncing around, certainly when you run across the grass like that, or across the curbs and stuff. They are a great challenge to drive, and I'm glad that there's a lot more of them in Forza 6. Oh, this second to last corner. It is a glorious corner when you have a great car and you get a perfect line through there. When you don't have a great car, or in a car you've not driven before, it is one of the most terrifying corners on the circuit, because it is so fast. Also, this car is just, you cannot really put very much power down. So, ooh, we're going to get a big twitch. Okay, I mean, admittedly, we should have probably lost a wheel there, I will be honest. We should have broken a very expensive classic Grand Prix car. The back end is not planted on the road whatsoever. You're going up to a corner and everything feels fine. And then the back end decides, nope, we're going to come round and play. We're going to say hello, like that, through there. Come on, car. Come on, car. We can stop sliding about for a little bit at least. It'd be quite nice if we, if perhaps we could, get it stopped. The brakes aren't fantastic either. Yes, it is an incredibly light car. Yes, it is a proper racing car. However, it is a very, very old one. The brakes are not really up to... You kind of expect it to get stopped a lot quicker than it actually will, because it's just got very old tyres and very old brakes. Oh, it's trying to make those corrections and it suddenly decides it's going off. That was very, very near a high-speed tyre bundle. That's not what we want to be doing at all. Right, up towards this monstrous second-to-last corner. Can we take a little bit more speed around here? The problem is I fear if I chuck it in how I want to, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to slide the, the classic Grand Prix car. Oh dear, these things in the wet are... terrifying, I think, is the word that I'm going to go with. What did I drive? I think I drove to Brabham around Nürburgring in the wet. Yeah, that's an experience and a half. I may have to do a... and again, the same place. Exactly the same place. Exactly the same way. Yeah, I may have to do a challenge video on that at some point, because it's absurd racing these cars. In the dry, they are tough. They are tough cars to drive. 21 on the first flying lap. I've got to try and not twitch it into the wall coming down the... sort of start-finish straight. I'm having to be really cautious through this section. I want to go quicker. I just have no confidence in the back end of the car. Little bit like with the 458 I had last time at Hockenheim. That thing, I had a lot more confidence in that thing than I do in this particular car, but that was quite surprisingly slidey. Oh, we got it stopped. Look at that. I've actually hit the apex of that corner for once. I figured out where the braking is now. Don't get a big twitch coming down here, please, car. We could be nice and controlled through this section. We're going above sort of 90 miles an hour. We're trying to take these fast corners. Oh no, twitchy and bumpy and not particularly enjoyable. Slow. Carefully does it. Now try and get on the power. And this is a very, very quick car. Once you get it out of a corner, once you can unleash all 400 horsepower out of it, you can get it to go really rather fast. Now we've got to be careful around here. Let's try and not hit the wall this time. I know what it is, it's that bump. That's what's doing it. I'm hitting the bump and it's throwing the car about 18.6. Oh, and we're going to take too much speed up to turn 1. We saved it, somehow. Normally when you put wheels on the grass in a car like this, that's game over, especially at such a fast place as the turn 1, turn 2 section here. That was quite lucky. Fortunately, with the way kind of the grass curved away from the tarmac, and the way I was travelling, we got away with only a little bit on the grass. Just got a big slide coming up the hill. This is in the kind of sensible car. For a target car, this is quite a difficult one to drive. But I thought it'd be an interesting challenge for what the Dodge. The Dodge is going to be very, very different to it. We're still going to have oversteer problems, I would be expecting. But yeah, I'm not sure how that car, the Dodge's suspension, is going to handle the demands of this course, because this is sort of struggling a little bit. There's all of these bumps that I don't remember at Sonoma. I have driven this track plenty in Forza 4 and a fair bit on Project Cars, but I just don't quite remember where all of the bumps are positioned, and certainly you feel them in this when there is something to be upsetting the vehicle. Yeah, this is not going to be a better lap. Let's get it out of that final corner with a big slide of the Eagle. Yeah, not hard at all to get this thing sliding when it wants to go. It's 140 up across the finish line. That's how quick this car is when you give it a moment to accelerate away from a corner. Right, let's see if we can be any quicker. Got to be so patient with this car, getting it around these turns, as it's you can't rush this. You've got to make sure. Got to make sure that everything is settled before you try and unleash the power. You've got to dip the wheel slightly on the grass. Is not ideal. Again, wait now. Now we can go and fire it at the next corner, and then jump on the brakes, because I know we're not going to get stopped if we go much later than that. It is, an interesting. I love that we have access to these cars, that we can try and keep control of these vehicles. Yeah, racing these in the old Grand Prix would have been insane. The level of driver skill and concentration required to keep these things on the road for lap after lap. And here, no, stop, sliding, please, car. Use the speed again. For a very brief area that we can. I may have braked a tad too late for this hairpin. Oh, I've pushed my luck there, but we have got it stopped somehow. I thought that was going to end really badly. Oh, tried to get on the power a little too soon. I'm swinging out a little bit wider than I was planning on there. I avoided the bump a little bit better. Across the line, it's not gone quicker though. It was, what was it, an 18.6, I believe, was my fastest lap. It was a clean lap, that final one, though. I did not realise the other one was a dirty lap. What was it? I think it was 6/10 of. I'm just going to try and now figure it out, because I didn't think I had a dirty lap. It was 6/10 of a second down on that one. So what was it? Yeah, it was an 18. An 18.6. 18.6 is the goal for the Dodge to be trying to beat. I think it's going to be quite tough. I do think that is going to be quite a challenge for the Dodge. Yeah, this is not an easy car to drive particularly. Good fun, incredibly fast when you can unleash it, but you've got to be careful, and certainly got to be patient with it. Okay, the turn of the mighty Dodge. We have well over twice the power, I think almost 4 times the torque of the classic Grand Prix car. A lot more weight, yes, but who knows what the handling of this is going to be like. Sounds like a muscle car. Fingers crossed the suspension won't be too wibbly wobbly. I think we might be okay. In fact, oh dear God, we don't turn again. It's another car with chronic understeer. Like, that really doesn't get turned at all through the corners. But there, God damn it, I thought the Alpha was just an odd one out. No, whoa, we're on 2 wheels. You're not supposed to be doing that. Why are we doing? We're not supposed to be rolling it. That's not what normally happens with the silly car builds. It's actually really good on power delivery. We have 1,150-ish horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, and we just boot it and it's fine. I mean, it's wheel spinning a little bit, but nowhere near what I was expecting from the car. We do have to be very, very cautious through these turns. I think it may be ever so slightly tripoding as we go round the corners. I get kind of getting this feeling as we go through the turns that I'm kind of, it's not responding to my steering inputs. It's sort of going up on, it's lifting the unloaded front wheel up into the air, and then it's not. It kind of just carries on steering the way that it's going, and I can't really dissuade it from doing such. Can we get the power down out of that corner there? We do seem to be only spinning one rear wheel. Just slightly confusing. We're going to clonk the wall on the way past. Oh, very nearly hit that bit. Yeah, the front of the car is definitely lifting up as we try to get on power. I am bemused as to why we're spinning one wheel. I definitely did put the race diff in here. I don't know. I'm trying to look at the tyre tracks we're leaving, or the tyre temperature gauge. It's not consistent with whatever. It's very peculiar. Very peculiar. The suspension definitely also feels incredibly strange in this car. I think it's because it's supposed to be an off-road vehicle, and I've stuck it on race suspension. Oh, we don't stop massively well, admittedly. I think, yeah. No, it's definitely, see, there we go. It's spinning one tyre, kind of fun. I don't know, it's strange the way it's delivering the power. It's not it's not delivering it as crazily as I expected when we have so much of it in here. But that does make it slightly easier to drive, which is kind of helpful. Oh, we're going to lose it big time through here. Got a wheel on the grass. We kind of rescued it. I think we can possibly beat the 18.6. Maybe. Can we stop at all into the final hairpin? We can. I don't know why I'm having so many issues. Ooh, I seem to be not. I think I'm used to perhaps Forza 5. The sensitivity on the brake is slightly more. Because I'm watching the little braking gauge as well, and I'm not always going sort of full brake pressure. So I think I've got things to relearn from Forza 5 to this one. That I'm still sort of just driving on instinct a little bit. We are spending a lot of the time. In fact, I'm wondering if perhaps it's not so much the diff that's causing problems. Perhaps as we're going across these hills, maybe it's the whole car that's kind of tipping and lifting a wheel slightly off the ground, potentially. It does feel incredibly bizarre to drive this car. I'm trying to think of what I can compare it to, but there's just nothing I have driven is quite like this one. The way that the suspension is sort of set up. We haven't got it big time on two wheels again yet, and I do say a yet, you never quite know. So now the front feels like it's lifting up. I'm not quite sure how far, but it's certainly enough to be a little bit uncomfortable. Right, let's try and be... Nope, we're going to lose the back end. Oh, we caught it. I've done a good job of saving this car. You can kind of catch it. The bumps across there, again, lifting the front of the car up. How much the speed we're carrying through here with the Eagle? It's like 90. Yeah, I mean, we're carrying about similar speed. I don't really have oversteer problems at all with this car. If I catch a curb, it can fire it sideways, or maybe it was a bump down there. I don't actually think I brushed the curb, but it can get fired sideways by things, but it's not really on power here. There's that bump there that I was hitting with the Grand Prix car. It does exactly the same thing to this, only rather than kind of smacking the wall with the front, where it finds. So what I was doing with the Grand Prix car is as it was snapping sideways, I was trying to catch it with counter steering it, and I would end up smacking the wall with the front of the car. This one here, it doesn't have the grip when I go to counter steer it, so it's still smacking the wall with the back of the car. We've got to be careful of the bump, but aside from that, the on power oversteer, it doesn't have it. It's just quite a lot of understeer on turn. If I can get a clean lap, maybe we can up on two wheels again. Maybe we can challenge the Eagle. I haven't actually set a particularly good lap. I haven't had a lap where I haven't got massively sideways at some point. I don't know. It's just going to be tough. I feel like this is an easier car to drive in some respects, which is odd. Admittedly, it does feel slightly easier. I'm not constantly fighting the car in the same way. I think it is. It's the curb. No, that's the bump over there. The curb initially was putting it up into the air, unloading some tyres somewhere, and then there's a bump as well that does it. So we've got just all of the issues down there. I thought the bumps could be interesting for this car, and the hills, the elevation changes. I've only got one more lap to try and do something with this car. This lap is slightly better, I think. Still, we're fighting it so much with the elevation changes and the bumps around here. Can we... Oh, the front of the car was picking up there. Can we make the most of it? I mean, we're not... There isn't a huge amount of space, admittedly, to stretch the legs of the car around here. However, again, the Eagle was quicker than this. In a straight line, we could get the power down a lot better, get the speed up in the Grand Prix car, whereas we can't quite do that with the Dodge. Fighting it as we go down the hill and then over the crest of the hill. We're not on two wheels this time around. We can use the power. Once we can fire the power, yeah, it's going to be a quick car. This thing, it's always going to be quick when it's got this much power and this much torque. Hey, made it around the corner, ran a little bit wide. Perhaps that's what I was doing with the Eagle, I can't remember. Where I dirtied that particular fastest lap with that car. across the curb on the inside, lifted us up slightly. Yeah, it's the bumps that are the biggest concern. Oh, maybe it's running across there. I think that's dirty this lap. Across the grass a little bit. Right, we've got to be careful here. I've got to wait to get on the power. Straighten it up. Yeah, if you get on the power while you're still turning there, that's what does it, I think. So we've got to straighten it up and then go. Oh, big wheelie almost coming up. That second to last corner. God dear. Yeah, you are fighting and fighting this car. Right, slow you down for the hairpin. I don't think we're going quick enough, though. I thought we might stand a chance, potentially beating that Grand Prix car, but I don't think we've got it this time. It's only about 3 seconds up, and that's not going to be enough, I don't think. Across there, just go for it. If we scrape the rule, doesn't matter. It's a 21.8. It is well down. The Dodge is well down on the Eagle. A really peculiar car to drive, this one. Really bizarre. Does all sorts of interesting things on the on the suspension. I mean, it's not that bad kind of on-power oversteer that I expected from it. I was thinking it was going to be it was so much horsepower and torque, I thought it was going to be a real problem. It's not, it's just the way the car is set up, built, of course, for kind of off-roading. Yeah, the suspension is so bizarre. It's such a weird thing to try and drive quickly. You just can't take the turns as well as you would want to. Yeah, quite a lot of understeer coming from the Dodge as well. Yeah, it fails to beat the classic Grand Prix car. However, there is one more thing that we need to do with the mighty Dodge. And of course, that is to take the Dodge for a speed run. We have plenty of power in this car. We could potentially get quite a lot of straight line speed out of this. However, not the most aerodynamical of shapes. Also, the suspension is rather peculiar, being so high up, and I'm not sure that'll help either. 237. Could we get 240 out of this? Maybe. Maybe we could. 238 anymore? Could we crack the 240 mile an hour mark? The Alpha got close, but couldn't do it. No, 237 again. Right, so if we just tune that back a little bit. Now, the benchmark is not always completely accurate. It is possible we may run out of road before getting to the top speed. It's also possible that we may be ever so slightly faster. I was going to say, aero, I don't think there was an option to change the aero parts, of course, with the car already being sort of partially modified, if that makes sense. So we can't do anything about that here. 238 miles an hour for the car. Also, I'm slightly curious. Suspension. If we stick the ride height down, it'll probably look quite bizarre. Will it actually give us a better straight line speed? I would expect it to, but it hasn't shared 238.2, and it would have been at 230. What is it going to be? 238.3? I mean, I'm not sure that quite works, but never mind, it'll have to do. We will leave the suspension as it is, and yeah, see if we can get to 238 out of the Dodge. We have then got to try and make the turn. Also, the very end of the run down this straight, if we can make the turn flat out, it does go slightly downhill. Now, the Alpha, we hit a bump and got fired sideways into the turn. So we made the corner at about 200 and something miles an hour, but we lost a lot of speed for going sideways, and we only ever hit about 220 after the turn. The Alpha got, I think it was 234 from the Alpha. So we're going to see if we can go quicker. I fear that we will probably hit the bump, the same bump with this, and this is having a lot more issues with the bumps, so we may have a very big crash. There is also a bump around here that I'm actually going to completely avoid because I'm not making the turn because of the understeer. Either way, we're on to the long straight. It is. It's very, very quick down this bit. When are we going to hit the 200 mile an hour mark? Well, it's slightly now. The acceleration is now slightly slower with the Dodge. We're running into all of that drag from the muscle car. We're up to 220 miles an hour though. Can we? Come on, car. We want at least 230. We can't let the Alpha beat you. Not with all of the power and torque that we have in here. We're going to get at least the 234 mark. 31, 2. There we go. There's 232. We're moving about on the bumps now. Not very nice. 233, 34. Come on, car. You can get 235. We got 235. Now we're in the air. We're in the air. We're bouncing. We've made the turn. Oh no, we've not made the turn. Oh. Get it back under control. No, we lost it. Dear God, the bounce there was amazing. I don't know how much airtime we got, but that was quite a sizable shunt from the Dodge. It did get 235. I saw it flip on to 235 briefly. As expected, quite difficult. Quite difficult to drive this one. Once we hit the 230 mile an hour mark, any bump was sending the front of the car up in the air, trying to turn and hitting that bump. You need to go the wide line. You need to get the turn in because this is going to understeer. And the second you get that bump, that's it. The car is pretty much out of your control. Then I thought we got it. I thought we got it together again. I was trying to get back on the power, and that was too much for the car. It was still unsettled from the bump. And yeah, I fought it and it lost. Oh, I lost. The car kind of lost as well. It ended up in a wall. Yeah, putting 1,000 horsepower in the off-road Dodge makes it bizarre, peculiar to drive. It cannot beat the Grand Prix car. Mighty fast in a straight line, but be aware of bumps and hills and elevation changes. It's not ridiculously oversteery as you might expect, but it gets so unhappy whenever you go near the bumps and so on, that yeah, quite a curious little thing or quite a large thing in fact to drive. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.